So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream for ustream.tv and also recorded for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. I've been working in my creative Bible and I really like working a little bit wetter than normal, but watercolour effects, keeping as dry as possible because I didn't want too much crinkle. So the first page I did, I managed to do some quite nice watercolour effects. I don't like the purple and the pink, so I've decided that I'm really not a purple and pink girl, unless it's in my other colour book and I'm using the Hydrus. But I'm not, I think that spoils it. I think that would have been far nicer being something else, but it was a practice. So I found my little travel iron that I don't use anymore. So that's into the craft room. And again, I will not be taking this to model shows or when I go out. I want to take this with me and sit quietly with 3 paintbrushes and a pen set, a watercolour set. And I think I did that with watercolours. But the first one I did, and I couldn't remember, I used the Derwent. I used the Derwent watercolours because I remember the 2 purples. And so I may go back to that. So this was with these Winsor & Newton professional watercolours, and this page was as well. So I still managed to get 1 or 2 nice highlights because the pigment has to be good in the paints, but also it's the magic between the riggers. It's the colour on the end and the damp brush. That's what causes these beautiful watercolour effects without having to wet the page and drop your colour in. Now I've seen lots of people do lots of different things in the Bibles, but again, too much effort for me and not really what I wanted the Bible for. You know, I might do that for the Harry Potter ones and for other colour books, but this, I want to be in a kind of peaceful state when I'm doing this. I want to be quiet. I want to read the scripture. I want to read what I'm thinking about, think about it, and colour in. Mainly for the other one, not this particular one, because it has a lot of the words for you. But you know, this is what the Bible journaling is about. This is not a colour book, and so I don't want it to be all about the creative process of what I can do on a page. You know, I've got 20 colour books to do that. This is my quiet space. This is my Bible journaling. This is me getting into parts of the scripture that I haven't read before, things I can't remember that I think, oh, I've actually remembered that. But this is what this is for. And again, a small set of paints, a few brushes, a quiet place. That's what I want. Having said that, I'm going to attempt to iron this. Now I did have oopsie, sorry, whoa, that was a bit of a thing. I bought this yesterday. I went to the Abbey. My husband thinks if I go to the Abbey I can't spend any money. We've got some gorgeous things, and so it actually fits my little bag inside. Whoa, I did it again, sorry. So I've got my little plastic bag that all the supplies fit in and the Bibles. And then I have a little shoulder bag, but it's got some really tough things on it, so I look for that. So, and it has a zip on it as well, so I couldn't resist that. Not that I need another bag, but and of course that lends me to get some of these. Oh, I took that yesterday, but nobody came back out. And I haven't decided how I'm going to do the lettering either, because I'm not as neat as I could be. And again, I don't really want to put it on the floor if I can help it. So I've got some rotary pens, I've got a sketchbook, and then I've got these. And I've been working with the letters to create my own lettering design. And I quite like these, and they're all made up of the actual floral design. So because they all need putting into a proper file. Now I do intend to put those on my website so that people can download them for free and just colour them in, or you cut them up and use them as a template. So that was my first one, and I did a lot of different colours in here. I tried all the supplies that are in here in this, and they've dried now. The only one that went through was the peerless, so I didn't want to use the peerless. The hydrous showed through, but then they've dried out. But the hydrous, you can use them from dried. But if you use the hydrous as a wet watercolour, then you add water to it, it becomes too wet. But if you let the drops dry on any plastic or plate and then you retouch them, you can then get some really lovely colours. And I did that yesterday in the aviary. And again, I bought this at the Abbey because it was beautiful. And I've left a template in because I thought if I wanted to create some nice squares for words, or I'm not very neat, so I thought that would be quite easy to kind of plan what you're going to do on the pages that there isn't anything. So I thought I would have that in the back kicking about so I could use it. So, and it fits quite nicely at the back of there. So I'm going to put this onto here, and it doesn't fit perfectly, and it's plastic, so I've got to be a bit careful. And I didn't do that, did I? Well, I did, and then I used this. It's not very clean, this. I don't think this is even worse. Let's have a look. I did have, I thought I left a piece in here. No, I didn't. I may not be able to iron it because I suppose I could just use some, I know I could use, just use some pieces of paper. That would do it. If I use some pieces of paper. I was looking for the, yes, that would do it. So I'm going to iron that. See if I can get a few crinkles out. But I'm just going to have to turn that light out. And that light out. And that light out. So I apologise about this, because I don't want to blow the electrics, because I've got everything on one plug socket. So I have to be a little bit careful. Now I did turn this up a bit. It's on cotton, so I might put it on wool. Yes, it's coming on straight away. So that should protect it, and hopefully I can get a few crinkles out. But even if it's like this, it's not going to bother me too much. I just like working like this. Oops, I can smell the iron. So I'm left-handed, so I apologise about this. I think what you do, I've watched a couple of videos, is you just move it across. It's a bit difficult to iron right-handed, but I think the trick is to keep moving. I've ironed a napkin. I have ironed a napkin. So that's worked really well, actually. I don't know if the more you do it, the worse you... Got some tracing paper under there. And always buy children's tracing paper, because if you buy tracing paper from an art shop, it's expensive. But if you buy it in the children's section of the shop, it's always cheaper. I'm just going to try and see if I can get these out here. It's a little bit skew with, is it the word? I seem to have had a natural kind of kink in that, but that's actually really quite nice. So I'm not sure I can do this side yet. I've got a really hot iron in one hand, so we'll put this behind here and then we'll put that behind there, just to give it a little bit of stability. And I'm just going to go once, I don't want to be messing about. So wool's probably the best, but I've just got that little bit of a crease in here and I don't know. A little tiny bit of a crease, but I'm going to have to live with that. I'm just going to put this somewhere safe and unplug it now. And I don't know where this plugs. So we can have some lights back. So that's worked quite well. I can live with that. That's worth the price of just bear with me a second. I think that's worth the price. Of a crinkle. So it's going to be a little bit crinkled, I think, but it's probably going to be in it. If I put something on it, it'll go back flat. But that's what it's about. It's about being creative. But again, if you're sticking things in and having things poking out, there are going to be a lot of things. But I just like the delicate little bit of colour. So the Derwent watercolours are nice, although this was done with that watercolour. But again, I think that's going to be a little bit too wet for me. I think I want to go back to having the little book, because again, this book, it's not going to be wet. I can just sit and flick between the 6 pages of the Derwent, sorry, 3 pages. And I think that's enough colours, and you know, that can sit there and it's next to it, and I can just flick between and choose what I want to do. And I find that a very, very easy, clear, quick. It's a very clean way of working as well, because the only thing you're going to drop is your brush, and because most of it's damp and the tiniest amount of colour on there, the chances of making a mess. I mean, I drop it quite oftenly, but sometimes it drops like this. As long as it drops and it doesn't touch the exact edge, you are not going to make a mark. If you've got a big paintbrush full of liquid colour and you drop it on there, you know, it's going to go everywhere. So that's how I really wanted to work in this particular one. So because, as I say, it's already kind of worked out for me and worded, I don't mind colouring in that one. This one I'm going to do slightly different. Again, I probably will want to work extremely dry. Probably as dry as I work on a napkin, if not drier. Because I will be designing my own designs and my own words, and I probably still will be ironing it as well, I think, and putting the Ganzite and the watercolour in as well. So oops. So I don't mind showing it when it's done, but I think it's the process that's kind of personal, if that's just me being a fuddy-duddy. Has anybody else got this book? Oh, hi Little P, welcome to Bunny's Designs. I've just ironed my pages. I've just ironed my pages in my Creative Bible. I ironed this one. This is Derwent watercolour pencil, which I love, and this is the Winsor Newton professional watercolours. And actually you probably wouldn't know the difference, because I couldn't remember. You know, there's two pale colours there. So I wasn't mixing colours, I just used them out the pan. And again, I don't want to be colour mixing when I'm doing this. I want to flick through my Derwent watercolour pages, 6 pages, and I want to think I want a yellow, or I want a purple, or a green, and that's all I want to do. So I may even make, if I've got the energy, I may make this size here, which is a polyview, and I'm going to make it in the same way, but I'm going to put my Derwent watercolours, and I'll probably put the Inktense as well, but I'll make some big squares, and I'm going to cut it down so it will sit in the back of the Bible. It's just a smidgen too big, and so if I cut it down and round the edges again, because these get quite sharp if you don't round the edges, that's going to fit into here, and then I don't even have to have all the colours that are in here. I can just take this with me, and possibly this beauty, and I think this was, I remember this was quite expensive, but I could work with this. I prefer the Riggers because I want some watercolour effects, working very dry. So again, I paid a lot of money for that and I don't use it, so oopsie. But again, it's taken me a long time to get to this Rigger state. It's not an overnight thing, but I can really get my supplies down to next to nothing. I mean, that will actually fit into here. If I just take a few of these, that will fit into here, and then I've got the watercolours and this. But because I go away all weekend, I normally take I probably will take the colour book as well, because I normally take a colouring book. I'll take the Colin Thompson watering colour book. Sorry, I can't talk today. Because I'm there all weekend and I can't do anything but just sit and draw. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So on the Sunday I want to do this. So I was going to do some lettering, because I haven't done any lettering before. So I was going to do some lettering with my little book, and I was going to try and get a watercolour effect, some highlights, and see how well that worked. So I'll zoom in a little bit. Oh, what's encaustic work? Oh, encaustic wax. Oh, is that for wax resist? Little piece that she's got the same little travel iron. I don't think I've ever used it. I've carried it around with me for years, but I don't think I've ever actually used it. So it's now got a proper home. I think probably because it's a peaceful way of working out of here as well, and that's why I like it. I have enjoyed working in here and doing those oil paints and things, but I think I've gone back to here because just the last few days working with bigger paintbrushes and mixing, I've upset this hand, so they've driven me nuts the last 2 days, and I'm putting it down to because I don't do anything. I did pull a plug out yesterday, so I upset that one. So the only thing differently I've done is mix colour. So again, after these colour books, that will be a no-no. I will just be using these squares and enjoying colouring from these squares. And drawing again is probably a no-no. I'd like to think I could do these. And I'm going to make some cards. I'm going to make some cards. So that would be nice, but in fact I might take those back and get the cream ones because I don't think I like that one, but we'll see. So I need to turn this slightly and zoom in. Oh yes, so you make drawings with wax resist with the iron. Oh, I'll have a look at that little pieces she's got. It's called acoustic wax. Coloured blocks of wax that you warm with an iron and apply to a specific paper and make drawings. Oh wow! So if you put your link up for your Facebook, because I've kind of not got sorted with Facebook. I need to get my act together a bit. I need to find my watercolours. I'd remembered that I put them in a little tin. So in this box here, I've put gamboge. That's what it's called. I knew I'd remember. That's gamboge. And that's how much I've squeezed out to put into here. This is going to last me. That one is the Naples yellow. I haven't put any yellow ochre in there. And I've just bought these. Now that's interesting. Oh, but they were sealed. I made a boo-boo. I thought these were a good buy. I thought these were a good buy, but I thought they were the big tubes, and they weren't. So I dropped a clanger, but hey-ho. These are the Daily Rowney ones. I don't know if these are in here. I think they are. I think I worked through them. But these are the ones that I've put into here. And that's raw umber. So I put raw umber in there. And I went through them. There's a sap green. I didn't put any greens in. There's Hooker's green. Oh, so let's have a look at Hooker's green. I thought, oopsie, I don't really want to take the tops off because it squirts out, but we could. Wow, sugar. Sugar, 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 sugar. I'm going to put that one in there. I knew I shouldn't have opened it. I think I made the right choice. Whoopsie. I'm not opening another one. Sap green is quite pale. I don't think I've got sap green. But I want to put these. I am going to put... well, I changed my mind a minute ago. We'll have to have a look now and see if that is sap green. Hooker's green, rather. I wanted to put them in here. But I've had a thought that I might put... Because this is a sealed one. I might put acrylics in here. I haven't decided. I'll have to think about it. But I like the idea of having all those out. But now I've got this tin here. I'll see how I go this weekend and see what happens. But I've actually got quite a nice set in there. And I bought the tin with 6 in, and it was £17. And I thought, well, that was good, because one of them's 9, but of course it isn't. Not if it's a small one. So again, I should read the small print. It's not often I get done on YouTube, but I'm not on eBay, but I'm not infallible. Did you put your Facebook link in? No, little P. You have to tell me how to put links in. Do I have to do something? So people can put links in, or does it just work? So my idea is, and now I'd really like to work like this. These are Caran d'Ache. So I could play with the Caran d'Ache and see just how pale I can get them. If I did them, I could work on this page with the Caran d'Ache, and that would give me a good indication, wouldn't it? Oh, the back page is normally quite good. I could draw my own design on there and have a play. I might do that this weekend. I'll play with all these colours in this book and see what happens. That's what I'm going to do. But just at the moment I'm going to work in this. Not if you put the Stay Wet palette. This one. This one's a Stay Wet one. It's upside down. I'm just going to move that in case I mess anything up. When we were students, we had, what did we have when we were students? Just a plate, I think. We had just a plate. But I bought the Stay Wet palette because it was dry. Now this is upside down. Now these, I sprayed them with water. This is still wet. These will last me probably a week if I'm lucky. Because they're in a Stay Wet palette. So it's kitchen roll, and then it's, we call it greaseproof paper in the UK, but I think you call it baking parchment. So little P's put her Facebook on their link. Have you found me on Facebook? I have actually tried to make a separate website called Bunny's Designs on Facebook. It's a group. My daughters are in there for putting art, so that might be a space to put the same pages that we do here. That would be good. And we can see what we all do with them. So this will give you a good few days. And I love the fact that it's on white. We were always taught to do it on white because you can see what colour is going to be when you put it on your white canvas. If you always work with a dark canvas, when we do oil paints, we always start with not the yellow ochre, the other one, the sienna, a light sienna wash. So then you could permanently paint the bottom of it, the colour, and then you know what that colour is going to look like when you put it on your canvas. But that's take it to extremes. But I always like a white one because you get a good indication of your colours. If I'd have put them in here, that's why I didn't put them in here, because when we were students we used to use this Stay Wet palette. And I'm going away for 4 days, and I did this 2 days ago, and they're absolutely fab. So I'll spray them again. It's mainly this I want to spray. And you don't want the wet. You've got to have the difference. It's the Stay Wet palette I really want to get wet underneath. It's the kitchen paper that's wet. You didn't really want wet on top there. I've just done that to keep that going because it doesn't really bother me. But that's how you keep them. And they will keep. They'll probably keep longer actually. If you want to keep your oils, it won't work for acrylics. But if you want to keep your oils, you can actually put them in the freezer. We used to put them in the freezer. I'd put mine in the fridge. I think it's the freezer. If you're not going to be using them for a while. I've put a drop of linseed oil, and because my artisan water-based ones are very, very old, they didn't react very well. So they've resorted back to being oil paints. So I've put a tiny drop of artist linseed oil, a little tiny drop on top of every one, and I've put them in a food container with a snap lid, very similar to that one, and I put it in the bottom of the fridge. So hopefully they should be fine. Oh, that's good. That's good. Links are open if anybody wants to pop anything in there. Right, so going back to this. So you don't need those silly Stay Wet palettes and things. A plate with kitchen roll on, damp, and then greaseproof paper or baking parchment, is it called? I think. Oh, that was the postman. He hasn't left anything. Could be a bark alert. I'm just going to have a slurp of cold tea. Oh, I've got a message from Samantha. I just wanted to keep an eye on her because she's... come on, what's happening? I told her to text me every couple of hours, even if it's just send a thumbs up, just to make sure she's okay, because it's a long time before... Oh my dear, it's only a couple of hours before hubby's home. And it's difficult when she's gone volunteering, but you've just got to keep an eye on them. Although she did say she's on her way to... Because my husband had to go to work, he had to drop her off at the house first. And so it's a strange house. Just dropping a girl off there, so you've got to be a little bit careful. And I'm a very cynical old witch, I have to say that. I'm a very cynical old witch, I have to say. I don't trust anybody. Really cynical old witch. But there you go. Right, enough of that. That's one rabbit dropping we're not going to. Here we go. So we're going to zoom into here, or zoom in, or pan out, or pan in. Now, I like doing it like this. The problem I have is because my mouth is literally a thumb away, I try to talk quietly. But so you'll have to tell me if the sound's okay, because I'm dead near there. And we'll use our magic little man, and I'm trying to get in touch with Derwent to get them to see me. And the damn watercolour pencil factory is shut. We go once a year and it's shut. They had some floods last year, and I think it's taken a while to get back, so I'm not happy. But the worst thing is the pencil factory is here. The pencil factory is here, and there's a fence, and there is a building here where the model railway show is. And every time I look out the window, I can see the Derwent pencil factory. And I can't get in to see anybody about my little magic book. So I'm a bit cross. A little bit cross. Right. So I think that's worked quite well. Do I want to be in any closer? If I go in closer, you can see now. If we focus on this, you can see the detail. I'll show you how far can I go in with this. You can see the detail of just how good. Oopsie, sorry. See. I think that's the best. Just look at that. And it's all hatching or cross hatching with tiny little pens. So I'm going to try and get permission to show some of this video. I don't know legally how much you can show at a time. I'll have to find that out. Yes, I can see the link, so that's good. That means it's open. I can talk normally. And again, the problem is with the girls is we're country bumpkins, you know. They trust everybody. That's the only thing about living in the country. It's wonderful, but then when they go to the big cities, you know, 5-year-olds that live in the city are more savvy than mine and my 18-year-old. So, you know, it's. But you worry about them when they're. It doesn't matter how old they are. So I think I'm gonna do this little bird first here, and I'm gonna have to turn it sideways. So I do apologise because I need a good kind of. No, that might make you sick. We'll do it that way. So I've got. These brushes are probably a bit too big, I think. Again, I haven't quite worked the Bible pages out yet with the brushes. I keep thinking these thinner ones will be better. Oops, sorry. And then something happens. If I knock that again, I'm gonna push it further down because I normally lean it. I can actually lean it on the water top, so it's not going to move. So let's have a look. I keep going back to these three because they're a really long rigger, and there's a bit of colour in that actually. So let's see if I can get this out. And that's my water pot from yesterday, which I will still use. Oh, I'm going to get some. So I need to be a little bit more organised, so I'm not. I think hidden under here. Now this is dried out, so that's going to be perfect. I don't want it too wet. So I'm dipping the brushes into the little. I put it on top, and then I can put it anywhere. So I'm dipping into there and then drying them. Let me think about this little bird. I think probably. Well, it's a little white dove, but this page isn't white, and I don't. Oh, I do have Chinese white on there. I do have Chinese white. So let me just see if I can. I need enough cover. Oops. I didn't twist it to a point. You've got to twist it to a point, otherwise your bristles will go everywhere. And that is a little bit wet, but I know I can iron it, so it's not going to bother me too much. I would like no crinkles at all, but perhaps a touch of grey under there just to give that. So I've got a bit of a crinkle, but nothing's gone through. Hi Emma, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Is anybody else popping in? This is a live stream for ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. I'm working in my Creative Bible and I've zoomed quite very well in, and I experimented with the Derwent watercolours and my professional watercolours, and I think I've gone back to the Derwent watercolours because it's a very peaceful, quiet way of working. I've got 6 pages to flick through, I've got 72 colours, and I've got 3 brushes and a little water pot with a tablespoon of water and a damp baby wipe. And I really find this is a very simple, easy, quick way of working. So I'm going to try and mess about with these letters to see if I can get some nice effects. And as I said, I've never done this before, so we'll have to have a play. I was thinking perhaps, and again I'm at the wrong angle really, is to just tease some colour into there. That may be the wrong brush. I have to go for this one. Now these brushes won't last forever. They definitely won't last forever. A little bit damper than that. I'm laughing at the dog moaning. She's been asleep for hours, bless her. And again, I don't really know what I'm doing. I've just got a bit of a shine right where I'm looking, but I quite fancy the idea of some paler colours here. And I suppose I should have practiced first. I had a bit of a practice. But this is my practice. I iron out most things in this Bible and then I can make things work in the other one. It's not got too much colour in it. So I hope everybody's well and mended, and I wasn't going to stream today, but because we're away tomorrow till Tuesday, I thought I would, and I wanted to practice on this so I know what I'm going to take with me, because I hadn't quite decided. I probably will take the watercolours with me because I'll be taking my colour books as well, because it's 4 hours drive and there's a ferry to be on as well, and I did quite like that highlight, but that's not too bad for my first attempt. Oh dear. Emma says she's still pearling in Blackpool. Yeah, you'll be freezing in Blackpool. Are you there for the lights? They have magic lights on the Golden Mile, is it? The Golden Mile? Haven't been to Blackpool for a long time. I keep telling myself I'll take the girls, but I haven't been for many years. And again, I don't know why I use that colour, because I didn't like that colour, but it's a silly thing to do. But we're practicing, so hey ho. But this is a really meditative, quiet way to work. And again, I kind of like that for Bible study. I like that anyway. I love watercolouring like this. It's peaceful, and you don't have a lot of things with you, just a little pot. And I have a little cushion tray that I have on my knee. And I just really like working like that. So I suppose I could have used that a little bit darker, but you can always go back into it. The one thing you can't do is really take it out. Not on these pages. They're not really forgiving. But I don't really want to be slapping stuff in here. I want it to be peaceful. And again, that should dry out quite nicely. Let's have a quick slurp of tea. So this is, as I say, quite a meditative, quiet way of working. And there's not too much mess, and there's definitely no pressure on your hand when you're doing this. So I think this is going to have to be the norm for me, really. Definitely upset the wrist doing that. So I really wanted this to be about art that not everybody can do. Sorry, that people with problems with their hands, they can still do this. I did watch somebody do something with a page with pencils, and I actually wasn't looking at the colours. I was watching how cringing with the hand, thinking, oh, that finger must be cringing nipping this pencil. Although it was speeded up, I just thought, so I'm going to have to find all my pencils, and, well, I say find, I know where they are. Oops, somebody's up and about. I have some brown drawers that they had for children's schools, and they're once completely stuffed with pencils. And they're all colour coordinated, but they've been sat there for quite a while. So I may have to get them out, but after colour mixing with the acrylics and the inks the other day, oh, it's the little man that's up and about. It would be nice to do different colours in the same... Oh, go to sleep, Dexter. Stop being a pest. Good boy. This is the old Heinz 57 Terrier. Just having a wander around. Oops, I've gone out of the line there. Just got a bit of a sheen on there. So I quite like these. Oh, don't come in here, Dexter. Alfie's taught Dexter to wee on the floor. The little sodser. Dexter, out. I hope he goes back to sleep. Just such naughty children, honestly. Absolute terrors. You'd think the teacher, oh, we've got a nice home now. We've got company. We're not left for hours on our own. Let's be good. No. It's, oh, what naughty habits do you know? Oh, do you? I know this one. And the other two were in concrete cages when I found them. And the only thing was in the corner was a bit of newspaper. And they didn't know whether to do the busy on the newspaper or sleep on it. So they did both. And they are spoilt rotten and they're still bad. So I didn't kind of do much with that one, so I might have a bit of a play. But I'm getting a bit bolder now, so that's quite good to be bolder. I think these pencils need redoing, and that's what I thought about, making up some bigger squares, because I'm starting to use them more. But I definitely will not be using them as a pencil. And the other thing I was watching this person, and I can't remember who it was because it was 2 in the morning and I was boss-eyed. And it was beautiful, absolutely spectacular. But it was kind of drawing with one leaf, 3 different coloured pencils. So getting a pencil, get another pencil, colouring that, get another pencil. So you had like highlights, lowlights, and then the middle light. Every single thing. And then getting a wet brush and doing the same, then going over and blending. And then going back in with a white highlighter pencil or pen. And I thought, you've touched the same thing 3 times, which is awesome. But I mean, I did 40 layers when I did my oil paints. There's 40 layers in some places. So I was doing highlights, lowlights, highlight, and building up layers and glazes. And I did 40 layers, 50 layers in some places. But just maybe because I'm old. And the other thing I was thinking was, do you get arthritis if you colour like mad when you're 12, 13, 14? Because that's the only thing that bothers me, is that in 20 years' time, are we going to have colourers' arthritis? Because we've been doing this for hours and hours, gripping pencils, like tennis elbow. Because I've heard some people say that their hands hurt for days afterwards, and I'm a bit concerned about that, because we're doing this wonderful, creative, peaceful thing, but there could be a government warning on it. Or is that just me being an old git, a grumpy old woman? But I am concerned. I mean, my daughters draw a lot, and my other daughter's crying the other day. She says, my wrist hurts. And I'm thinking, yeah, my wrist hurts, but I've got arthritis and I'm 54. Your wrist should not hurt that much. But of course, she draws all the time. So that's what made me think, perhaps, we need to kind of have a bit of a think about repetitive pencil action. Because you'd hate to think these wonderful colourists are like me. They're not going to be able to do it in 20 years' time because their hands aren't going to work. So it's a bit scary, and that came out of my boot, so I apologise about that. But as I say, 2 o'clock in the morning, half asleep, you have all these thoughts. So these are a bit bright, these colours. I'm not really into these colours, but this is a practice. The first one I was thinking about, these others I'm not, so it's not working. So you've got to concentrate on what you're doing. But it's difficult when you stream. When you're streaming live, you don't colour like you normally do. It's not so different, but the angle's different. I cannot see what I'm doing because there is a reflection from that lamp. So I can't see whether I'm going over the line or not, which is a bit scary. It's a little bit scary. But it's still quite an easy way to do. And again, because this paintbrush is bouncing about and bending, it's taking all that strain off my hand. So again, it's just a bit of a, I'd like to think I could maybe play with that and get some nice highlights going. I've got a bit of a curl on this brush again. If the curl's in the right place, it'll scoop round and it'll be wonderful, but if it's not. So again, brushes aren't going to last forever because, you know, they're getting a bit of a batting of these. They are being used quite a lot. Oh, I've just realised what I could have done, but never mind. I don't know what the little dog is trying to upset everybody for today, because they were behaving themselves yesterday. So I've had a bit of a play with colour. Oh, bye, Emma. See you in a bit. Thank you for popping in. I say it's a bit boring, is this watercolouring? But I wanted to see if I was just going to take this little book with me. And again, I didn't realise that I love this geranium colour. Where's the geranium? There's Geranium Lake. I really love this colour. And again, I don't think I'm going to get these highlights in these tiny spaces. I'm just going to colour them in. So in a little while I'm going to play in one of the colour books. So if anybody wants to see the Kirby Roseanne or the Imagimorphia, the balloon page has got to be finished off. The Colin Thompson book's got to be finished. There's the one I started yesterday, which is the, don't actually know who draws that one. The Aviary. There's the Aviary, which is in the, I'm just using Hydrus in that one. I haven't started the Harry Potter ones yet. I'm trying to sort out the inks and acrylics. I'm pretty sure I like my homemade one better than the bought one, so I'm going to use my homemade one, my homemade gesso. Not sure if I'm going to use oils yet because I've got to have a bit of a think about that. What else have we got? We've got the Magical Jungle. I haven't started the Pride and Prejudice one yet. I did watch a flick through of the Joanna Basford Magical Christmas. That looks beautiful. I think they're going to be in bright, vivid colours though, I'm pretty sure. I think that one's going to be professional watercolours by themselves. What other book have I got? I've got the Kirby Rosie Sketchy Stories, the little tiny one. That's wonderful to colour. Which reminds me, I may have to buy, because I gave it to my mum-in-law because she couldn't see. I bought a little magnifying glass, and it stands and it has lights behind it, and as if she couldn't see very well. But of course I think it's got a bit kind of mangled because she's quite old and it's got very badly scratched. It was kicking about the thing, and I gave her an old sock and said keep it in an old sock and it won't get scratched. But so I think my husband thinks because I can't leave the model show I can't spend. So I shall be finding all sorts of things, because the model stuff is very good. They have little pots of acrylic paint as well. If I forgot my paints, I always Used to buy those, and these brushes were bought there as well. And the Umbro brushes, these I was using them for the Harry Potter, for the oils. These will stand up to oils and acrylics. This set was £6, which was a little bit more than I would have normally bought them, but I hadn't got any. And it's this set, and there's the, sorry, Humbrol. And these are made for the little acrylic pots, so they're quite robust, because those are not really good for brushes. They're for then, you know, they're built for modelers, but you know, they're acrylic based. So I managed to get all the oils out of that, so they were quite good. I hope I did that with the little one as well, because I used the little Diddy one a lot. Yes, I managed to do that, so that's good. Because I'm normally terrible at cleaning brushes. Oops, sorry about that. So I just finished this little flower here, and I'm not really enamoured with that. I'm going to have a play on paper first, I think. I'm going to play on paper because I wanted to be a bit more creative, but just have this 72 pencils, and so I wanted to have a watercolour effect, and I'm not doing that, and I think it's because I'm not concentrating, so I'm going to have to think about that. But again, the 72 limited palette makes you be that little bit more creative, I think. But I'm used to these 72 now. I know the 6 greens, I know what I like. There's the olive greens, there's the bright greens. So I've had a bit of a practice with these for a few years. And I thought there was another flower somewhere. I love geranium pink, it's my favourite for flowers. Adore geranium pink. So if you've got any questions or anything you want me to colour in, because as I say, I'm going to colour in for a few more minutes. I'm just going to finish this little section. And then I'm going to colour in one of the colouring books. Again, I always go back to this sap green because I love it. I love, sorry, olive green. Tell a lie, cedar green. I will get there eventually. But I do like nearly every colour on this page, I have to say. And maybe a bigger brush. Let's just have a bit of a practice. So we've gone to the number 1 rigger. Again, twisting to a point, and it's not really liking it. So they may have seen better days now, these brushes. So again, I'm just going to stroke this colour out. So I've got another leaf to do here, and we're finished. Oh, I've forgotten a little flower there. So this paintbrush is now a little bit wetter, but of course it's going to give me those highlights that I like. So again, I think we've got to be a bit braver in here. So I quite like those. I'm going to make that yellow, and I'm going to put this was Primrose Yellow that I've used in the centre, which is a very soft one, but I just thought it would be enough. And again, now these should be different because it's a different paintbrush and it's wetter, so they are going to be different. Says she. There's just one left on its own. And again, it's different because I've got all this colour on the end, so I'm going to use it. But again, it's still a fairly peaceful way of working, and that's what I aim for. I can't make too much noise, I can't make too much mess. I probably will take this tray with me, because it's actually, I bought it at a model show. As I say, my daughter used to use it for because your paintbrushes and things don't, and actually the little Umbros things fit in all the way around these little corners. So I've quite enjoyed doing that. I'm not sure about the colours, but hey ho. Let me just put something dark there. Sorry about that. Oopsie, that's what I want. So I'm going to pan out, so don't be panicky. If it goes a bit. Hopefully I'm still in focus. So it's not too bad. It's, you know, it's colour. I didn't have to think about it. I don't have to be bothered about that. It's Genesis. It's the beginning. It's there. You know, and again with this I can actually remember. So don't have to think about it. So there with the Derwent watercolour pencils, and these are with the professional Winsor & Newton watercolours. And of course they are watered down. And they are mixed. I have made my own colours. And mix different colours in, which I don't do when I use these. But these weren't. This was the same colour, but with the same pencil paper palette. All the same colour. I just used it in the watercolour way with a damp brush. So again, really like that. Don't like the middle bit, but really like that. Really like those colours. But again, I don't want to restrict myself. Again, you know, I was calling these cherries, but of course they're not cherries. They're rose hips, I think they're rose hips. Dog daisies, dog roses we used to call them. So really liked working with these colours. Oopsie. So quite like working with these colours. Now this little tray, as I say, but you can get the mats to fit into here, the cutting mats. So the guys sit there with the cutting mats, and they've got all sorts of things in the little pots. Things I've got all sorts of things in mine. But actually, you can stand things up and little water pots. Now the little water pot here actually fits in this one. So I can put that there, oops, and the water pot, which is spilling, there. So that's quite nice. I mean, normally I'd put it on this side because I'm left-handed. So there's all sorts of things you can put in place, so you know things aren't going to fall about. So it's quite handy. They're normally about £20. So model shows sometimes are quite good because I've seen the guys that have made their own and they're fab. But the little pots of colour fit in here quite nicely. And of course this is A4, so the cutting mats fit in here. The cutting mat would fit there, and then you've got space here to put things. The only thing wrong I didn't like is underneath they're moulded, so they're a bit sharp. But I have this on my cushion tray and it works quite well. So if you can put your pencils, so they're not going to roll about. And of course your water pot, if it spills, it's going to spill in here. When it's on my tray, it would spill on my tray. So again, I quite like that idea, that if I do suddenly have to move my leg and I knock things. So that's quite handy. Yes, and that is actually a lot flatter. There's hardly any crinkle on there at all. Because I worked with the pencils, the Derwent watercolour pencils, and that pink and red is almost as vibrant as that, and that's vermilion. I think that one's vermilion. So you can still get some quite bright colours, but again, I quite like the idea of not being hugely bright in your face. But that's just me, you know. Everybody has the different colours that they want to use. I'm just a boring girl that likes very pale colours. So that's another page started in my little book, My Creative Bible. And if it didn't have these on here, I was going to put my floral design. So I'm going to buy another one that I can put my own design on. But that's another investment. So thank you for watching. This is probably part 3 of this particular book. So thank you for watching.